Today we're doing a bit of a security briefing, but not on the things you might expect. We're not talking about code or malware. We're talking about a psychological system that's designed to turn your own brain against you. We're going to deconstruct the architecture of induced confusion.
So let's just get right to the core of this, the central paradox of almost every modern scam. You know that feeling of confusion you get during one of these calls? That feeling of being overwhelmed, lost in a total mental fog? Well, that isn't a side effect. That is the attack. You have to get this. The noise isn't a distraction from the weapon. The noise is the weapon.
Okay, let's dive into this. To really defend against a system, you've got to understand how it's built, right? So we're going to break down, almost like a forensic analysis, how these scammers weaponize confusion and turn a simple phone call into a surprisingly effective tool of manipulation.
You see, this whole thing works because it's designed to exploit a basic limitation we all have, our working memory. The easiest way to think about it is like the RAM in your computer. It can only handle so many things at once before it starts to slow down. Scammers intentionally max out your mental RAM by flooding you with jargon, urgent warnings, and conflicting instructions. And your analytical mind, the part that questions things, it doesn't just slow down, it crashes. That mental fog they create, that is the perfect environment for them to get to work.
So what's fascinating is what our brains do when they crash like this. We feel this deep, really uncomfortable psychological stress from all the ambiguity. And our instinct, our default response, is to find a lifeline, someone, anyone who seems to know what's going on. And this is the scammer's genius, twisted move. They create the storm, and then they stand right in the middle of it, offering you the only umbrella. They engineer the chaos just so they can present themselves as the one calm, authoritative person who can lead you out.
Look, this isn't random. It's a playbook, step by step. First, they hit you with a high-stakes alert. You know, that shocking text about your bank account or a fraudulent charge. It's designed to get your attention and spike your fear. Then comes the sensory bombardment, which we'll dig into in a sec. But then, right at the peak of your confusion, they offer you a simple resolution path. A few easy instructions to make all the stress go away. From there, it's all about the attention hijack, keeping you on the line, keeping you from thinking or talking to anyone else. And only then, when you're completely turned around, do they go for the extraction, getting your money or your data. And then poof, they're gone before that mental fog even has a chance to lift.
Information flooding. You can think of that as the engine that drives this entire scam. Now, it is crucial to understand their goal here is not to convince you with logic. The goal is to paralyze your logic. By slamming your brain with technical terms, talking way too fast, and creating a constant sense of crisis, they make you spend all your mental energy just trying to tread water. You're so busy trying to figure out what they're saying that you never get a chance to question why they're saying it.
Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty, the actual tools they use. Jargon bombing is a big one. They use complex, official-sounding words to make you feel like you don't know what you're talking about, which makes you more likely to just go along with them. Rapid-fire speech is exactly what it sounds like. They talk so fast you literally can't form a complete thought. They'll also create an artificial noise floor, fake call center sounds in the background, to make it feel like a huge, urgent operation. And they love double bind scenarios, forcing you into a choice between two bad options like, "Sir, should we let the fraudulent transfer go through, or do you want us to lock your account for the next 72 hours? Either way you answer, you're still in their trap."
So, with all these tactics in play, all this pressure, there is one specific moment where the balance of power just completely shifts. A single psychological tipping point where your defenses are totally breached. When do you think that moment really is?
It's right here. It's the moment you give up. The moment you stop trying to make sense of all the jargon and the crazy story, and you just say to yourself, "I don't get it, just tell me what to do." That is the surrender. In that one instant, your analytical brain has been successfully bypassed, and you've switched from being a critical thinker into just a compliant follower. And trust me, the scammer has been waiting for that exact moment.
Now, to keep you in that surrendered state, they create what is essentially a psychological choke point. They will talk constantly. They will fill every single possible second with sound, with instructions, with questions. Why? Because silence is their worst enemy. Even a few seconds of silence is a moment where your rational brain might just reboot. A moment where that little voice in your head might say, "Hang on a second, this doesn't feel right." By completely monopolizing your hearing, they are actively blocking any chance you have of getting your feet back on the ground.
Okay, let's switch gears and look at what's literally happening inside your brain during one of these attacks, because this isn't just about psychology, it's about physiology. The scammer is engineering a specific neurochemical reaction that makes this whole thing so devastatingly effective.
So what you're seeing here is basically a civil war inside your own head. On one side, you have the prefrontal cortex. That's your CEO. It handles logic, planning, rational thought. On the other side is the amygdala. That's your primal alarm system, the panic switch that controls fight or flight. The scammer's high-stakes alert immediately flips on your amygdala. Then all that information flooding systematically shuts down your prefrontal cortex. So you're left with all panic and no logic. The scammer is, and I mean this literally, hijacking your brain's alarm system to shut down its reasoning center.
And this is where the manipulation really does a flip. That state of confusion and panic is intensely stressful. Your body is flooded with cortisol, your heart is racing, it just feels awful. And then the scammer offers you a simple, clear way out. Just open this app, just read me this code. Following these instructions isn't just a choice, it feels like a biological relief. Your brain is desperate for the stress to end, and compliance is the fastest way to get that relief. You're not complying because you believe them, you're complying to make the mental pain stop.
And if all that wasn't bad enough, they actually weaponize time against you. They will deliberately drag out the conversation, keeping you in that high alert state for as long as they can. This causes something called decision fatigue. Your mental energy, well, it's a finite resource. After an hour of intense stress, you are cognitively exhausted. Your ability to resist, to question things, is just worn down to nothing. So your own stamina, your ability to hang in there, actually becomes the very thing they use to break you.
All right, so we've torn apart the threat. We've seen how it works. Now for the most important part of this briefing, your defense. And look, this isn't just a list of tips or suggestions. This is a mandatory protocol. It's a set of non-negotiable steps you have to take to protect yourself. This is the circuit breaker. I want you to think of this as a fire drill for your brain. First, detect. The second you realize someone is talking too fast for you to really follow, that's your red flag. That's the signal. Second, interrupt. You have to break their rhythm. Just say stop, or hold on a second. Your goal is to create silence. Third, ground yourself. This is so important. Actually say out loud where you are and one thing you can see. I am in my kitchen, I see a coffee mug. Fourth, verify. In that pause, use a different, trusted device, your laptop, not the phone you're on, and look up the company's official contact number. Fifth, exit. Don't argue, don't explain, just calmly say, I'm going to hang up and call back on the official number from your website. Then hang up. End of story.
So let me be crystal clear on this point. That feeling of confusion, it is not a puzzle for you to solve with the person who is causing it. That feeling is the fire alarm. The moment that mental fog starts to roll in, your one and only job is to disengage. It's to get off the phone. Your job is not to win an argument or figure out their story. Your job is to regain control of your own mind, and you cannot do that while you are connected to the source of the attack.
So you might be wondering, why is just interrupting so powerful? Well, it's something called a pattern interruption. The scammer's whole strategy relies on a continuous, non-stop flow of pressure. By forcing a pause, even for just 10 seconds, you shatter that pattern. And that little pocket of silence is often all your brain needs to start rebooting your prefrontal cortex. It's just like restarting a crashed computer. In that quiet, your logic center can start to come back online and you can start to think clearly again.
Now, the grounding technique. I know it might sound a little too simple, but it is an incredibly powerful weapon against that attention hijack we talked about. The scammer has pulled your entire focus into their made-up digital crisis. By saying out loud, I'm in my kitchen, you're performing a mental reset. You are literally yanking your brain out of their stressful, abstract world and anchoring it back to your real, physical reality. That simple act breaks their psychological hold on you. Okay, let's bring this all home. We've deconstructed the attack, we've laid out the defense protocol. It really all boils down to one final, powerful idea that you can use to keep yourself and the people you care about safe.
Here is the fundamental truth you need to walk away with. Legitimate organizations, your bank, the government, any real company, they want you to understand. They actually benefit from clarity. Fraudsters, on the other hand, thrive in confusion. So intentional confusion is a universal, non-negotiable red flag. If any conversation makes you feel flustered, overwhelmed, and unable to think straight, you have to assume it is an attack.
So this is the mindset, the mantra you really have to burn into your brain. When the fog rolls in, the hands go up. That means the second you feel that mental confusion, you stop. Everything. Hands off the keyboard. If you don't understand it, don't authorize it. This is your final firewall. It doesn't matter how urgent they say it is, if you can't explain the situation clearly in your own simple words, you do not proceed.
period.
You know, we usually think of security tools as things like antivirus software or complicated passwords, but one of the most powerful security tools you have at your disposal is silence. The ability to just stop, to pause, to interrupt their flow and create a space for your rational mind to work. It's your shield against this kind of attack. Don't ever be afraid to use it.
So, we've taken apart the weapon, we've handed you the shield, the final step is yours. Because recognizing an attack is one thing, but having the muscle memory to actually use your defense protocol under pressure, well, that's something else. So the question I'll leave you with is this: now that you can spot the weapon, how will you practice using your shield?